Making Let's Plays is hard. A lot harder than I thought it would be when I first started back in November? December? I don't know. About 6 months ago. Anyway, you come across all sorts of problems. Technical problems, time problems, even sometimes legal problems. When I first started with Chrono Trigger, I literally had no idea what I was doing. My editing capabilities were awful, and I didn't know how to alter so many different things, especially like the aspect ratios on videos, for the emulator that I was using at the time. But somehow, through inconsistent uploads and not scheduling anything, and just doing it by ear, I managed to get to the end of Chrono Trigger. And then Back to the Future came around, and I started to experience frame rate droppage and other little minor issues like that. One episode I literally had to completely re-record because, I had the audio, but the visuals, and I'm still not sure how I managed that, the visuals just disappeared from my laptop. Anyway, after Back to the Future, I started to produce 2 Let's Plays at a time. One at 6 PM GMT and the other at 8 PM GMT. At that time, this worked out really well because I'd created so much content for Chrono Trigger and Back to the Future that it had backlogged so much that it sort of put me in a good standing for 2 video scheduling. So I moved on with Bioshock and Jurassic Park, and things were going well. I still had aspect ratio issues and other issues, but I was generally enjoying what I was doing, and it generally felt like the video quality was improving. After my rise in quality, I went back to another difficult game to edit, and that was Earthbound. And I loved doing this game because it just sort of worked with the way I was feeling at the time, and it was very silly, and it was just a great way to start, I don't know, something. So anyway, I played Earthbound. I'm really glad I did play Earthbound. Again, I like the quality I did for the Earthbound videos, and it helped me move on to other projects, such as Life is Strange, Just Cause, and of course my favourite Let's Play I've done, and that's not the game, the content, Star Trek Elite Force 2. I think my content for that was so good because I knew so much about the Star Trek universe, and I understood what was happening, and I could sort of comment, and it felt so natural to comment along with everything else, and I was still being an idiot. So after Earthbound was finished, I was wondering what to do next. I saw a brand new game that had just came out on Steam, and that had very little Let's Plays at the time. I watched the trailer and read the descriptions, and then literally bought it immediately, because it felt like something that I wanted to explore and do. But then I started up the game, and here is where the first real technical problems start for me, and it was Ori and the Blind Forest. Now, if you've played that game, you will see it's very visual. There is a lot of visual content, and that's how the story is told. If you haven't played it and you have the capabilities to play it, really do play it. I played 2 hours, and I've still got that footage, but it's very laggy. The footage I've got is not what I was seeing on the screen at the time, so that's why I had 2 hours worth of footage, and it wasn't until I went back to view the footage that I sort of saw how laggy and how slow the game was being, and how many frames I was dropping. So I tried to record it with different settings and other different things going on, and it was the same result. I literally tried for hours to fix the problem, and I sort of came to the conclusion that it was either my graphics card that wasn't really good enough, or my hard drive on the PC I use, which is actually a laptop, wasn't strong enough. So it was one of those, and I have tried since to put in an external hard drive and run it off that, and it still wasn't working. So I'm guessing it is the graphics card in the laptop, which unfortunately I can't change. So I was literally gutted. It was my first real blow for the channel, and to myself as well. I mean, it was the first game that I really wanted to play but couldn't due to technical difficulties. I literally lost sleep over this, and it nearly made me go back to 1 game a day schedule, and it nearly could have finished off my channel. Just Cause was still running at the time, so I sort of kept going with that. However, I was very positive about it, because it was literally the first problem I had encountered, so I'm not going to just give up straight away, you know. I took a few nights sleep on it, and then came back and thought, right, okay, what game do I want to play to replace Ori and the Blind Forest? And since I had already played 2 Telltale games and had fell in love with their way of telling a story, I decided to take down the monster that is The Walking Dead, and things go downhill from here. The first season of The Walking Dead was plagued with problems, from not plugging in the right mic, which was my fault, not setting up the game right to record, the recording settings were wrong, and I think I was still annoyed from Ori in the first season that I wasn't as focused on making videos, so the editing became very sloppy, and as a result, my views really declined. If you look back to, I don't know, about January time, my views on those videos are in some of them are in the 30s. I mean, for me, that is very good. But on all of my The Walking Dead, my views are probably 1s or 2s, some are even none. Life is Strange Episode 2 also suffered from that, and so did the Game of Thrones. And illness didn't help either. One of my Game of Thrones episodes, which I was very ill during, felt like I needed to record just to keep up the schedule. That was literally the only reason why I was recording that. I wasn't enjoying... I mean, I enjoyed the game, but I wasn't enjoying the editing and sitting down every day and sort of... It was getting to the point where I was coming home from work. I've got a late work schedule anyway. I was getting in, and then I was thinking, right, I've got to record this, then I've got to edit, and then I've got to do this. And I wasn't sleeping until like 5 a.m, and then having to get up at 6 a.m. to go to work the next morning. That was the sort of place I was in. So, at this point, I really just... I felt I needed to bounce back. So, I decided I wanted to revisit a series that, for the first time... and that would literally be revisiting a game series for the first time on my channel. It was the Bioshock series. Coming in with Bioshock 2, it just felt right. Even though the first game was very frustrating for me to play, I really enjoyed the gameplay, and I really enjoyed other features about the game. I enjoyed editing it, and the fact that you pick things up on an adventure and the story, it really appeals to me. So, I loaded up Bioshock 2. And the technical issue hit again. This time I was adamant it was my graphics card. I literally did look this up quite a lot. It was my graphic card that wasn't good enough to load up the game, which was confusing to me. I had played higher graphic resolution games on the laptop I'm running, but for some reason Bioshock 2 wasn't working. Essentially what was happening, I was on level 1, right at the beginning, I was going up some stairs, and then bang, it would crash. I was annoyed, but I wasn't too disheartened with this at the time, as I had a few good games in my Steam library, and I really wanted to do them anyway. So I moved on to Borderlands, and during this time, I started to branch out a bit more to people running other channels, doing other Let's Plays. So, for me, they had found their feet doing Let's Plays and stuff like that, and their channel also did like great co-op games with different YouTubers and between themselves, and they had a great podcast going as well, and they still do, and it's something that I really enjoy listening to, and that's something I look forward to listening to every week. So I started commenting on the channel, you know, just throwing odd comments here and there. Essentially, all my other things I subscribe to, I'm a silent subscriber. I've never commented on anything before, and I literally commented on this because it was so good. For me, like, to see an amateur do something that was as good as some of the professional YouTubers out there. So then I was literally shocked when they asked me to come on one of their podcasts. This set some terms which I won't go into, but I was generally shocked. I was like, oh, okay, they want me, an idiot, essentially an idiot that doesn't really do video games that well to come on their podcast. I sort of milled it over a bit, and we've sort of agreed that I'll go on the podcast, but a later date. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know what's going to happen. I am doing something for them. I don't want to ruin it for them, so I won't say on this video what it is. And then, as we were getting to know each other on Skype, they asked me if I wanted to do a co-op with them. A co-op game called Cry of Fear, which is a free-to-play game on Steam, some indie game, I don't know, it's very Slenderman-y idea, horror game sort of thing. And I was excited, I was over the moon about this. I mean, if I finally found something that I hadn't done before. I thought that maybe my channel could go in a slightly different direction occasionally and do something a bit silly and a bit daft like this. And it was literally at the point where I was quitting, and I even dropped my 2 games a day schedule to what is now 1 game a day, which actually works in better with me because I'm not as rushed to get games done, and I'm not as strict on the schedule and things like that, which is great. So I was on this Skype call for 2 hours, right? And this was to record a game, and good old-fashioned technical issues kicked in again. We tried doing multiplayer settings, we tried so many different ways to try this co-op game, and it just did not work. And all I was thinking was, what is the fucking point? Seriously, that was it. I was ready just to say, I've had it. I'd already had quite a long day, I was very tired, and I was just like, I don't want to do video games anymore. I just want to play video games. I don't want to have to record them anymore. Recording is a bullshit. So I was ready to quit, but the other YouTubers, they were very adamant that we actually do something, that we actually use our time for good. So we started listing off games that I had, that they had, and things like that. And we had, I have got Left 4 Dead, they had Left 4 Dead, so I was trying to download Left 4 Dead really quickly. It was taking ages, and then we were thinking, right, let's just find something else. Then we found another game, which is multiplayer, that was very quick and easy to download. I actually bought the game just so that I could play it with them, just so that I could actually do something and just play a video game. I wasn't too bothered about recording, but I thought I may as well record because they were going to record as well. So yeah, I did that. And the reason why that video hasn't came up on my channel is because of audio problems. Inaudible, that's the word of choice. You couldn't hear me. Everything else was fine, couldn't hear me, and to put up a game where you couldn't hear me sort of didn't make sense. And also, if I'm being fair to the others, their commentary was great. Mine was terrible. It was just so dull and drab. It was just like, I was listening, I don't know what to do with this, I don't know what to do with that. It was very down. The bits that I can hear on my audio is just terrible, so bad. Yeah, that's all I've really got to say about that. I mean, one of the other YouTubers have said, look, I've got the original audio recordings here and everything seems fine, I can send it to you. We'll see what happens with that. I don't know whether I'm committed enough to be able to edit that video, because that means I've got to listen back to this terrible audio that I've been doing. I mean, usually I can cope with my videos. When I'm new into a game, usually I'll just get on with it and just do the game. But with this game, I was constantly bitching and moaning. It's like, I don't know what to do with this, I don't know how to do this. And I don't know. There's no excuse. I was just not very good. Anyway, we'll forget about that footage now. I don't think that's gonna come to anything. It might do, it might not. My final thoughts, right, is a big one. Somehow I had the idea out of nowhere to do a Let's Play on the Lego Movie video game. I started recording, that was today actually, and then decided to make sure this morning that I could actually release the footage that I had on my channel. So I Google searched Warner Brothers, and see if they had Let's Plays. Most game developers have like a frequently asked questions page about Let's Plays, and they're all very polite, and they say, yeah, you can do this, do whatever you want, just don't monetize. That's generally the rule. So I emailed Warner Brothers legal team. They were very quick to respond, which was actually quite shocking, because usually legal people take ages to get back to you, and they'll leave it until the deadline. My deadline was the 18th of May, which is when this video is scheduled to come out. And they got back to me and they said, yes, you can use our footage as long as you only use 5 minutes. And you're not allowed to use any of the game music. Now, that's fair enough. They've got every legal right to do this. Some people might be a bit freaked out by that, but, you know, to be fair, if I wrote a game, I might be very protective of that game itself and the story. I wouldn't want anyone to abuse it, especially an unknown YouTuber like me. So this caused a dilemma for me. I was really enjoying the game and wanted to show it off, but I couldn't because of the conditions, so I decided to scrap the video I'd already put up. That's now gone. That will never be shown, unless I get some weird legal letter saying, oh yeah, no, you can now do this, which I won't. So that video is now gone. I've deleted the game off my library because I'm not going to play the game without recording, because it wouldn't feel right. That game is just gone. I'm never going to play that game. And that's a shame, because it was a good game and it felt good and I was enjoying it. And I think both me and Warner Brothers have sort of lost out on that. Me more, because of the stress that I've had to go with. But Warner Brothers also, because they've lost out on a free advert, a commercial. And yeah, it's kind of like if someone's offering you free money, you don't turn around and say, well, I will only take this money on this condition and this condition and this condition. You just take the money. Or actually, I would not take the money, but you know, that's how it goes anyway. I might release small clips of the footage I've got, but I'm definitely not filming anymore, so that's the end of that. So we're up to today. I'm now writing this and recording it. Literally have no idea what's going to take The Walking Dead's place. I might go to a game that I've already played before, and do a different type of Let's Play, but that's going to break my blind Let's Play thing, which was the whole idea of the channel and the whole idea. But my choices are sort of getting rather limited. Honestly, I'm not sure how much more I could take of YouTube. It's the same problems. Like, if it's not a music problem, it's audio problems and other stuff. It just drives me insane. And then there's the actual people on YouTube. The majority, very lovely people, but then you get the odd one that are very condescending, and and then I find myself blaming myself because they are being rude to me. I'm blaming myself for that. It's like, what? Why am I doing this? So at the moment, I literally am losing hope that I'm gonna end up being fun with games again. My subscriber count's literally never gone above 10. I struggle to get views, so I ask myself, why am I actually doing this? Now, in the beginning, the answer is for myself, but now it's so hard and difficult, it's not for myself, it's just because I have to do it. Look, I'm not doing this because of fame. I rarely promote my videos. I never ask for a sub for sub. You know, if someone had subbed to me, I'll check out the channel, but I won't necessarily sub back. I'll only sub back if I think that I'll watch the videos. I think that's fair, because I would only expect people to sub to me if they're going to watch the videos. If you sub into me, don't just sub and then not watch the videos. It's stupid. And the ironic thing is that I'm saying this and no one's going to watch this video. But that's how YouTube is, and I've got to get used to that sometimes. The market I'm trying to promote my videos in is overpopulated, so what is the point for me getting subs and then not having any views? I don't know. People don't want to watch what I'm putting out, which is fine. So once I finish this recording, I'm going to have to seriously consider carrying on. I seriously am. I'm going to have to I'm obviously going to complete Borderlands because I don't quit until something's finished, and I like to wrap things up. But after that, I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be a video on Monday. I don't know. Well, I guess until next time, but I don't even know if there is going to be one. If you've got this far, thanks for watching and listening. It means a lot.